This is M7 to Harlem 147th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 15th Street. Transfers available to the 1, 2, 3, L, B, D, F and M trains, SIM1C, SIM3C, M14ASBS, M14DSBS and SIM4C. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 15th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 18th Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 18th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 20th Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 20th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 23rd Street. Transfers available to the F and M trains and M23 SBS. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 23rd Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 27th Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 27th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 29th Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 29th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 31st Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 31st Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 34th Street. Transfers available to the B, D, F, M, N, Q, R and W trains. Path, M5, M5 Limited, Q32, M34 SBS, M34A SBS, SIM1C, QM4, SIM3C, QM2 and SIM4C. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 34th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 38th Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 38th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 40th Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 40th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 42nd Street. Transfers available to the 1, 2, 3, 7, B, D, F and M trains and M42. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 42nd Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 45th Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 45th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 47th Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 47th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 50th Street. Transfers available to the B, D, F and M trains and M50. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 50th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 51st Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 51st Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 54th Street. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 54th Street. Next stop, Avenue of the Americas and West 57th Street. Transfers available to M57, SIM1C, SIM3C, SIM4C, SIM33C, M5 and M5 Limited. This stop is Avenue of the Americas and West 57th Street. Next stop, Central Park South and 6th Avenue. This stop is Central Park South and 6th Avenue. Next stop, Central Park South and 7th Avenue. This stop is Central Park South and 7th Avenue. Next stop, Central Park South and Columbus Circle. Transfers available to the 1, A, B, C and D trains, B99, M12, M57, and M10. This stop is Central Park South and Columbus Circle. Next stop, Broadway and West 61st Street. This stop is Broadway and West 61st Street. Next stop, Broadway and West 63rd Street. This stop is Broadway and West 63rd Street. Next stop, Broadway and West 66th Street. Transfers available to the 1 train, M104 and M66. This stop is Broadway and West 66th Street. Next stop, Broadway and West 69th Street. This stop is Broadway and West 69th Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 72nd Street. Transfers available to the 1, 2 and 3 trains and M72. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 72nd Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 75th Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 75th Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 77th Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 77th Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 79th Street. Transfer available to M79 SBS. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 79th Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 81st Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 81st Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 83rd Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 83rd Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 86th Street. Transfer available to M86 SBS. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 86th Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 89th Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 89th Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 91st Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 91st Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 93rd Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 93rd Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 96th Street. Transfers available to M11, M106 and M96. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 96th Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 98th Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 98th Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 100th Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 100th Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 102nd Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 102nd Street. Next stop, Amsterdam Avenue and West 104th Street. This stop is Amsterdam Avenue and West 104th Street. Next stop, West 106th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. Transfer available to M116. This stop is West 106th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. Next stop, West 106th Street and Columbus Avenue. This stop is West 106th Street and Columbus Avenue. Next stop, Manhattan Avenue and West 106th Street. This stop is Manhattan Avenue and West 106th Street. Next stop, Manhattan Avenue and West 109th Street. This stop is Manhattan Avenue and West 109th Street. Next stop, Manhattan Avenue and West 111th Street. This stop is Manhattan Avenue and West 111th Street. Next stop, Manhattan Avenue and West 113th Street. This stop is Manhattan Avenue and West 113th Street. Next stop, Manhattan Avenue and West 116th Street. This stop is Manhattan Avenue and West 116th Street. Next stop, West 116th Street and Fred Douglass Boulevard. Transfers available to the B&C trains and M10. This stop is West 116th Street and Fred Douglass Boulevard. Next stop, West 116th Street and Adam C. Powell Boulevard. Transfers available to M2 and M2 Limited. This stop is West 116th Street and Adam C. Powell Boulevard. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 116th Street. Transfers available to the 2 and 3 trains, M102 and M116. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 116th Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 119th Street. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 119th Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 122nd Street. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 122nd Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 125th Street. Transfers available to the 2 and 3 trains, M102, BX15, BX15 Limited, M60 SBS, M100, M101 and M101 Limited. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 125th Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 127th Street. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 127th Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 129th Street. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 129th Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 132nd Street. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 132nd Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 135th Street. Transfers available to the 2 and 3 trains, BX33 and M102. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 135th Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 137th Street. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 137th Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 139th Street. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 139th Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 142nd Street. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 142nd Street. Next stop, Malcolm X Boulevard and West 145th Street. Transfers available to the 3 train and BX19. This stop is Malcolm X Boulevard and West 145th Street. Next stop, West 147th Street and Malcolm X Boulevard. This stop is West 147th Street and Malcolm X Boulevard. Next stop, West 147th Street and Adam C. Powell Boulevard. Transfers available to M2 and M2 Limited. This stop is West 147th Street and Adam C. Powell Boulevard. Next stop, 146th Street and Lenox Avenue. This stop is 146th Street and Lenox Avenue. This is M7 to Harlem 147th Street. This is M7 to 14th Street 7th Avenue. Please exit through the rear door.